Hey, what's up YouTube? I just want to thank you guys for coming back to the Max and Me channel. And today I am going to do another installment of the Vintage Knives collection. Vintage Knives collection number 4. Ooh, I guess I got my camera zoomed in pretty tight, but that's alright. And we are going to go over some Hammer brand knives. Hammer brand knives were actually imperial knives, but they were like a cheaper quality imperial, sort of like a lesser, or you know, a cheaper priced knife. It wasn't like the top of the line for their time. And the ones that I have mainly run from 37 to 42, I think. But the Hammer brand has been around since I think the late 1800s, maybe 1872 or around there. I think I read something about it. But again, these are just sort of like second-rate imperials. So the first one I'm going to show you is this. This is a regular jackknife, I guess they would call this. Some people might call it a Barlow because of the way it is shaped, but I've seen it called a regular jack 3-inch, and it has it's all steel. It doesn't have any brass liners. The liners that are inside are pretty much all steel. You can see it shows its age. It has a celluloid covering on for a handle, but basically the whole knife was made from stamped materials. Maybe that's why they call it Hammer brand. I'm not 100% sure. I just know that they were made by Imperial and by New York Knife Company. These old knife makers weren't really good at keeping records. They were good at making knives, and that's all they really cared about. They didn't really care about keeping records about these types of knives. So I'll just show you. It has a pen blade for the small blade, and there is patent numbers right there. On the bottom is 37, and the one on the top is 43, and I believe that was the run that Hammer brand had its heyday. They were one of the largest knife companies, actually by Imperial. You know, Imperial was one of the largest knife companies in the world at one time. It has a clip blade also, just to show you, and you can definitely see the age in these knives, the tarnishing. And the way you tell a Hammer brand knife by its age, the age of it, is by that right there. See that Hammer brand in the arm with the hammer on it? Well, if you count the fingers in the hand, you can tell basically what year it was made, with the fingers in the hand, and then the way the shirt is on the back end of the sleeve. The wider ones were made, I believe, between the late 30s and the early 40s. If you have a Hammer brand knife with a large sleeve and 4 fingers in the USA stamped down the side, you usually have a knife that was made after 1945, after the war. They tend to have a US stamp or a USA stamp on them after 1945. But you can see there that it has a little bit of damage. The celluloid handle has started to flake off. And this knife just reminds me of like those old linoleum floors you used to see in old apartment buildings. that were made, you know, in the 1900s, the early 1900s. This was a very popular style back then. I don't know if it was Art Deco or whatever, but I've heard this called like a cracked ice pattern, and that it is similar to what I'm about to show you. You can see the bolsters on these knives too. They were stamped metal, and they were just folded right into place. They were placed on and bent in with these little grooves and tongues that were bent into place to hold them on. The pins are underneath that hold this knife together, and those were probably all stamped or hammered in themselves too. So that's a 3-inch jack from, I believe, around 36 or 37. Now it could actually be early 40s also, but I'm not 100% sure. It's very hard to date these things. But the next one that I have is in really good shape, and this is called a Senator penknife. I think this one was a little bit of an expensive model. I can date this one to 1936 and 1937, and it has 2 pen blades, and you can see the pattern numbers right there on the back of that one. And how you date this one is by the arm and the hand logo there. In 36 and 37, the sleeve on the arm was shorter, like a smaller cuff on the arm. That's how you date these Hammer brand knives. So it's just a regular pen blade, Senator's penknife. It's also has celluloid handles, nickel bolsters that have been stamped, and tongue and groove to hold them on there. You can see it right inside. And this one actually has brass liners. You can see the brass on the inside. So great little collector's item knives. Oh, the pattern on this one I know is called cracked ice, and they did this in a variety of different ways. A lot of them were like, they look like mother of pearl, but in the same style, like all cracked like that. They called it a cracked ice pattern. I've seen them in green and red and varieties of different colors. So I just wanted to show these two. These are the oldest knives in my collection right now. I picked both of these up. I picked this one up for $10, and I think I actually got this one free when I bought 2 others. So it was a really great buy on my part when I got them. So I just wanted to show these. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, I got a little bit of a trivia thing going on. I'm going to show one of my Camillus knives, and we'll see if anybody can guess what kind of knife this is. And don't you guys out there be using Google or anything. So this is an odd knife I picked up. It's a Camillus knife. You can see right there, it's got a long blade. It's about almost 3 inches long, I would say, serrated, half serrated, and it's got this long metal hook or spike on the other end. And let me zoom out so you can get a full view of that. And I want to see if you guys can guess what this is. I'm going to give you a little bit of a hint. It's not what you think it's for. How about that? All right. So, okay, human beings, the most intelligent life on this planet. We control it. Some say it's because we have speech and opposable thumbs. So I suggest you guys use them. And don't forget about the trivia. Leave a comment below. Use your speech. Thank you very much, everybody on YouTube, for tuning in. Have a great week. Peace out, YouTube.